Have you ever faced a frustrating issue with your Visual Studio project where local settings just won't cooperate? If that's you, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into the problem of managing appsettings.local.json in your Visual Studio project. I totally get it. You want to keep your local settings private while still using shared configurations across multiple projects. It's a common challenge for developers, and you're definitely not alone in this. Here's the specific situation we're looking at. One user recently asked, how can I manage appsettings.local.json without causing build errors in Visual Studio? They explained that they have a solution-level appsettings.json linked to multiple projects, but they face issues when trying to keep appsettings.local.json out of version control. Sound familiar? Let's explore this together. So what's the root of the problem? When you clone the solution, the appsettings.local.json file is missing, leading to build errors. Visual Studio is looking for that file, but it can't find it because it's not in version control. Let's break this down step by step. And stick around. I have a great workaround at the end that will help you manage your local settings without any hassle. To address the user's issue, the first step is to create the appsettings.local.json file in each project that requires it. This file will contain the local settings that should override the shared appsettings.json. Next, the user should ensure that appsettings.local.json is included in the project but marked as excluded from version control. This can be done by adding it to the .gitignore file. Now the user needs to configure the project to copy appsettings.local.json to the output directory during the build process. This can be done by modifying the project file. Finally, the user should ensure that the appsettings.local.json file is present in the output directory after building the project. This will prevent the build error regarding the missing linked file. Fun fact, did you know that the first version of Visual Studio was released in 1997? Just like technology, our development practices have evolved, but some challenges remain the same. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative solution involves creating a base local settings file. First, place your default local values in appsettings.localbase.json. Then add appsettings.local.json to your gitignore to prevent it from being tracked. Next, set up a process to copy appsettings.localbase.json to appsettings.local.json in the output folder, but only if appsettings.local.json doesn't already exist. If a user has their own appsettings.local.json, it will be copied automatically by Visual Studio. This method uses MS-build to conditionally copy files during the build process. After building the project, you should see a message confirming the copy operation in the Visual Studio output. That's it for that answer. Let's take a look at another one. An alternative approach suggested by another user is to avoid adding environment-specific settings directly into the source code. Instead, they recommend creating a file named appsettings.local.json. Then, in your launch settings.json, you should set an environment variable to local. In the startup class, the user suggests using a configuration builder to load the appropriate settings. Instead of linking appsettings.local.json directly, you can load environment-specific settings dynamically based on the environment name. That's all on that answer. Let's take a look at another one. An alternative approach, suggested by another user, involves using the secret manager in ASP.NET Core. This method allows developers to manage per-developer configuration values without including them in version control. Here's the workaround I promised. Use a template file for appsettings.local.json. This simple step can save you and your team from unnecessary build errors. And there you have it. By using a template for your local settings, you can avoid build errors and keep your configurations private. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button for more tips, and don't miss our next video where we tackle more Visual Studio challenges.